You're not behind in life. You're just rushing something that isn't ready yet. And that's why you feel frustrated. That's why you feel stuck. That's why no matter how hard you try, it still feels like nothing is working. Because deep down, you're not just working, you're forcing. You're trying to control the timing of your life. And life doesn't work like that. You see people your age doing better than you, making more money, getting ahead, winning faster. And slowly, without realizing it, you start questioning yourself. Why not me? Am I doing something wrong? Why is everything taking so long? And that's where the problem begins, because from that moment, you stop trusting the process. And you start chasing results, fast, aggressively, desperately. But here's the truth no one tells you. Rushing your life will destroy it faster than failure ever could. Because when you rush, you make emotional decisions, you compare more, you lose focus, you quit early, you jump from one thing to another, and in the end, you don't build anything. You just stay busy. That's what lack of patience does. It doesn't just slow your progress, it breaks your direction. And the worst part, it feels like you're doing everything right, but you're not. Because success is not just about action, it's about timing, and timing is something you cannot control. That's where patience comes in. Not as a weakness, but as power. Now listen carefully. Patience is not waiting. Patience is working without panic. Patience is showing up without needing immediate results. Patience is trusting that what you're building will come together, even if you can't see it yet, and that's hard. Because we live in a world that rewards speed, fast money, fast results, fast success. Everything looks instant. So when your life isn't moving that way, you feel like you're losing. But you're not losing. You're just early. And early always feels like failure. This is exactly what Stoic philosophy teaches. The Stoics didn't believe in rushing outcomes. They believed in controlling effort. Because they understood something most people don't. You don't control when things happen. You only control how you prepare for them.
And if you're not ready when your moment comes, it doesn't matter how fast it came, you'll lose it. That's why patience is not passive, it's preparation.
Let me explain this in a way you'll feel. Think about every time you rush something in your life. A decision, a relationship, a career move, a risk. You didn't wait, you didn't think clearly, you just acted because you wanted results fast. And what happened? You either failed or you got something that didn't last. Because anything built in urgency breaks in reality. That's the pattern, and you've lived it more than once. Now think about the opposite. The times you waited, the times you stayed consistent, the times you trusted the process. Slowly, things started working, not instantly, but surely. That's how real growth works. It's not loud, it's not fast, it's not visible in the beginning. It's quiet, it's slow, it's invisible, until one day, it's undeniable. But most people never reach that stage. Not because they're not capable, but because they quit too early. They leave in the middle, right before things start making sense. That's the cost of impatience. You don't just lose time. You lose results that were already on the way. Now here's something deeper. Impatience comes from lack of control. When you don't know what's going to happen, your mind starts panicking. It wants certainty. It wants guarantees. So it pushes you to act faster, to decide quicker, to move aggressively, because it thinks speed will give you control. But it doesn't. It gives you anxiety. Because now you're not acting with clarity. You're reacting with fear. And fear always leads to mistakes. That's why Stoics trained themselves to detach from outcomes, not because they didn't care, but because they understood attachment creates pressure. And pressure creates impatience. Instead, they focused on effort. Daily effort, consistent effort, controlled effort, because that's the only thing you truly own. And once you shift your focus there, everything changes. You stop chasing results, and you start building systems. You stop comparing timelines, and you start trusting your path. You stop forcing outcomes, and you start allowing growth. That's where peace comes from. Not from having everything, but from knowing you're on the right path. Now let's talk about something real. You feel like you're running out of time. That's the truth. You feel like life is moving too fast and you're not catching up. And that feeling, it's heavy. It makes you restless. It makes you anxious. It makes you question everything. But let me tell you something clearly. You're not late. You're just comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. And that comparison is destroying your patience, because now you're not focused on your journey. You're focused on their timeline, and that's a losing game, because no two lives move the same way. Some people win early, some win late, some take longer, some take shortcuts. But in the end, the only thing that matters is this. Did you build something real? Did you grow? Did you become someone strong enough to handle what you want? Because getting things too early can destroy you if you're not ready. And that's something people don't talk about. They only show success, not the pressure that comes with it, not the responsibility, not the weight. So you think you want things faster, but you don't understand what comes with it. That's why your timing matters, because life doesn't just give you what you want, it prepares you for it, and that preparation takes time. Time you cannot rush. Time you must respect. That's patience, not waiting, respecting the process, and trusting that what you're building is building you at the same time. So stop trying to control everything, stop forcing outcomes, stop rushing your life, because everything you want is not running away from you. It's being prepared for you, and you're being prepared for it, but only if you stay, only if you keep going, only if you don't quit halfway. That's the test. Not talent, not luck, patience. And if you pass that, you don't just get results, you keep them. Let me tell you something most people don't realize until it's too late. Life doesn't reward speed, it rewards consistency. But we've been conditioned to believe the opposite. We've been taught that faster is better, that if you're not winning quickly, you're failing, that if results don't show up early, something is wrong. And because of that belief, you start rushing everything. You rush your growth, you rush your decisions, you rush your journey, and slowly, you disconnect from the one thing that actually matters: depth. Because depth takes time, real skill takes time, real confidence takes time, real success takes time. And if you're not willing to stay long enough, you will never experience what it feels like to truly build something meaningful. You'll only experience beginnings over and over again. That's what impatience does. It keeps you at the starting line. Now think about this. A tree doesn't grow in a day. It doesn't rush to become strong. It grows slowly, quietly, invisible at first. Its roots go deep before it ever becomes visible above the ground. And because of that, when storms come, it stands. Now imagine if that tree tried to grow fast, without roots, without strength, without foundation. It would fall immediately. That's exactly what happens in life. When you try to grow too fast, without building yourself, you collapse under pressure, because success is not just about reaching the top, it's about being able to stay there. And staying there requires strength that only comes with time. This is why patience is powerful, because patience allows you to build roots. It allows you to develop discipline. It allows you to understand yourself. It allows you to become stable. And once you have that, nothing shakes you. Now let's go deeper into something that most people struggle with: delayed results. This is where most people quit, not at the beginning, but in the middle. When they've been working, trying, showing up, and still nothing is happening. No results, no recognition, no progress that they can see. And that's where doubt starts. Is this even worth it? Am I wasting my time? Should I try something else? And slowly, you start losing belief. Not because you're not capable, but because you're not seeing results fast enough. This is the most dangerous phase, because this is where patience is tested. And most people fail here. They leave, they switch paths, they start over, again and again and again. But what they don't realize is, they were close, closer than they thought, because growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It happens in layers. You don't see it every day, but it's happening, internally, silently. And then one day, it shows, suddenly, and people call it overnight success. But it's not overnight. It's accumulated patience. That's the part no one sees. Now listen carefully. Just because you don't see results doesn't mean nothing is happening. You're improving, you're learning, you're adapting, you're becoming stronger. And that matters more than results, because results can disappear, but growth stays, and once you've grown, you can always rebuild. Now let's talk about something deeper: emotional impatience. This is when you don't just want success, you need it. You feel like you need things to work out quickly, so you can feel better, so you can feel validated, so you can feel secure. And because of that, you rush, not because you want to, but because you feel like you have to. That's dangerous, because now your actions are not coming from clarity. They're coming from emotion, and emotional decisions are rarely stable. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that emotions are temporary, they come and go, but decisions have consequences. So they trained themselves to pause, to step back, to not react immediately, because they knew time brings clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. That's patience in action, not doing nothing, but choosing the right moment to act. Now here's something that will change your perspective. Everything in your life is happening at the right pace for who you are right now, not who you wish you were, not who you compare yourself to, but who you are. And if you want things faster, you don't rush the outcome, you improve yourself. Because the better you become, the faster things align. That's the truth. Success is not delayed randomly. It's aligned with your readiness. And readiness takes time. Time to learn, time to fail, time to understand, time to grow. And if you skip that, you don't get ahead, you get exposed. Now let's talk about trust, because patience is impossible without trust. You have to trust that your effort matters. You have to trust that your path is valid. You have to trust that things will come together, even when you can't see it. And that's hard, because your mind wants proof. It wants certainty, but life doesn't give you proof in advance. It gives you results after consistency. So you have to move without guarantees. That's what makes patience difficult, but also powerful, because most people can't do it. Most people need instant validation, and that's why most people quit. But if you can stay, if you can keep going, if you can trust the process when it feels slow, you separate yourself from everyone else. That's where real progress begins. Now I want you to think about your life again, all the things you want: success, money, peace, confidence. They're not far away, they're just on a timeline. A timeline that you're trying to rush. But the more you rush, the more frustrated you become. And frustration leads to bad decisions. So instead of asking, "Why is this taking so long?" start asking, "What can I improve while I wait?" That shift changes everything, because now you're not waiting passively. You're growing actively, and growth never wastes time. Now let's go even deeper. There's a reason why things take time, because time filters people. It removes those who are not serious. It removes those who lack discipline. It removes those who quit easily. And what remains are the ones who stayed, the ones who endured, the ones who were patient. That's why patience is rare, and that's why it's valuable. Because not everyone has it, but if you do, you win. Eventually, not instantly, but permanently. There's something I want you to imagine. A version of you, stronger, calmer, more confident, someone who has everything you're chasing right now. The success, the stability, the peace. Now ask yourself honestly, if you became that person tomorrow, would you be able to handle it? Or would it overwhelm you? Because most people think they're ready, but they're not. They want the reward without becoming the person who can sustain it. And that's exactly why life makes you wait, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Every delay in your life is not rejection, it's training. Every slow phase is not failure, it's building. Every moment where you feel stuck is actually shaping you into someone stronger. But you can't see that yet because you're focused on outcomes, not transformation. And that's where most people lose patience. They don't see progress externally, so they assume nothing is happening internally. But that's where the real work is happening, inside you. Now let me tell you a story. There was a time in your life when you wanted something badly. You worked for it. You waited. You struggled. And eventually, you got it. But when you look back now, you realize something. The thing you wanted was not as important as who you became while chasing it. The discipline, the patience, the strength, that's what stayed with you. That's what mattered. That's what changed your life. And this time, it's happening again. You're in that phase right now. The phase where it feels slow, the phase where it feels uncertain, the phase where you question everything. But this phase, this exact phase, is where your future is being built. Not when you arrive, but right now. In the waiting, in the effort, in the repetition. Because success is not created at the finish line, it's created in the process. And the process takes time. Now listen carefully. If you quit now, you don't just lose progress. You lose the version of yourself that you were becoming, and that's the biggest loss. Because you can always rebuild results, but rebuilding yourself takes even more time. So don't leave halfway. Don't give up just because it's slow. Don't walk away just because it's not happening yet, because not yet doesn't mean never. It just means keep going. Now let's make this practical. Because patience is not just a mindset, it's a practice. Every day, you will feel the urge to rush, to compare, to doubt, to quit. That doesn't go away. But what you do in those moments defines everything. When you feel impatient, pause. Don't react immediately. Take a breath, step back, and remind yourself, I'm building something, not chasing, building. That shift calms your mind. Then focus on one thing, not everything, one action, one step, one improvement. Because patience grows when you stay focused on the present, not the future. Now reduce comparison, because comparison destroys patience faster than anything else. Every time you compare, you create pressure, and pressure creates urgency, and urgency creates bad decisions. So stay in your lane. Your path is different, your timing is different, and that's okay. Now build consistency, because consistency creates belief, and belief creates patience. The more you show up, the more you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you stop rushing, because you know you're getting there, step by step, day by day. Now here's the final truth. Everything you want in life will come, but only when you're ready, not when you demand it, not when you rush it, but when you've grown into it. And growth takes time, so stop fighting time, start working with it, because time is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally, if you use it right. And one day, you will look back at this phase, the slow phase, the frustrating phase, the uncertain phase, and you'll realize something. This was the most important part of your life, because this is where you became who you needed to be. So don't rush it, don't escape it, don't hate it, respect it, because your life is not late. Your life is unfolding exactly when it should. And if you stay patient, if you stay consistent, if you don't quit, you won't just get what you want. You'll become someone who can keep it. And that is everything. If this hit you, if you felt this, don't just move on like every other time, because that's what keeps you stuck. Take something from this. Apply it. Start today. And if you want more content like this, subscribe, because this is transformation, and it starts with patience.